To the judge presiding over my hearing today and everyone else watching, hi, I'm Tony Roman of Basilico's, Paso Vino in Huntington Beach, California, and I'm representing myself in this ABC matter. I am by nature a very private and even shy person, but in March of last year I took a stand, and that has since thrust this business into the spotlight. And still I've tried to always avoid being in front of a camera, but today I've been left with no choice. By now, many of you may know that we have never complied with any lockdown orders since the very second they were imposed on our state, March 19th, 2020. And most say we have even been provocative in our defiance, not shy about that whatsoever, but instead doing it boldly and proudly when standing for the flag and all it represents. As stated in the first days of our fight, our stand against our government's lockdown tyranny has never been about the right to work, a right to operate a business, having to pay our bills, etc. I understand those needs, but that is secondary. Our fight has always been about something so much bigger than ourselves. Our open defiance has been about only one thing: defending American liberty, our God-given freedoms, those protected under the U.S. Constitution, because it is always possible to recover financial and business losses, but when treasured freedoms are lost, they are gone forever. So instead of running from the lockdowns, we have always felt blessed to have an opportunity to be on the front lines of this fight against the enemies of American freedom. Since day one, we have dedicated our business as a constitutional battleground, and in doing so, we have always been willing to lay everything we have on the line, risking it all in this important battle, yes, even our very valuable ABC license. That is how we fight. We don't follow lawsuits. Our action of defiance is our lawsuit. I will not leave my destiny in this conflict in the hands of courts and judges. We believe they have no standing in this fight against lockdown tyranny. We have 4 counts filed by the ABC against us to strip us of our license. We have a criminal case against us. We recently had OSHA show up with the police in an attempt to serve a search warrant on us. I personally received death threats from mass shamers, threats to burn our restaurant down, threats to spread viruses inside our restaurant, and even efforts by celebrities to launch boycotts against us. But we have not flinched, and instead have dug in further and continue to hit back harder. We bully the bullies. But I did not pick this fight. I don't even come from the restaurant industry and never intended to run or own a restaurant. My 77-year-old mother, Rosemary, started Basilico's 21 years ago at another spot. And when she fell seriously ill several years back, I wanted to build as a tribute to her a new restaurant, one that would proudly carry on her legacy long into the future. It was a gift from me to her in late 2017. Ironically, in March 2020, in the midst of the early stage of the lockdowns, we were awarded a full liquor license in the lottery, upgraded from beer and wine. It was a long process, required a very significant fee, mounds of paperwork, endless applications, thorough background checks, and even fingerprints. Those of you at the ABC who assisted through the complicated process were so good to us, always so helpful, kind, and respectful. But because of the distractions that came with battling the lockdowns, we never had the chance to focus on opening our full bar. We were too busy defending the fort from attacks coming from every direction. So busy doing that, we didn't get around to creating a full bar program and offering full liquor until October, 7 months after issuance. And crazy as it sounds, we opened our full bar after the ABC issued the first violations. These alleged administrative and criminal violations included, as written, the first charge stating that we refuse or willfully do not obey the governor's lockdown executive orders. That one, based on the circumstances, we wear as a badge of honor. But the other, accusing us of keeping a disorderly house, causing a disturbance to the neighborhood with intent on causing injury to public morals, health convenience, and safety is ridiculous, and you and everyone know it. And if we were such a risk, then why did your agency wait several months to have our hearing, when all the while we were still operating fully and openly? And when at the first hearing, which we did attend in good faith, the supervising agent prosecuting us admitted under oath that she was willing to follow Gavin Pelosi's orders, even if he didn't consult legislature, and that she would force his orders, even if they violated the rights of American citizens protected by the state and federal constitution. So if you want to open that can of worms, we can. It's in the transcript. In over 21 years in business, we have never had a health violation, and not a single liquor-related violation, 0. You see, we appreciate the privilege of the license and have always utilized it responsibly and respectfully, but now you want to destroy our business because we refuse to wear masks, don't stand 6 feet apart, and will not serve food in a parking lot? Do you penalize businesses who commit real alcohol-related crimes, such as dealing illegal narcotics out of their establishment, running gambling houses from the bar, and also engaging in prostitution out the back in the same way? How about businesses that sell alcohol to a minor who then drives off and is killed in a car crash? Do you revoke, or do you just suspend 45 days and take no action until almost a year and a half later, allowing them to operate? And you call us reckless. And for these reasons, in protest, I refuse to appear for my scheduled ABC court hearings today, January 27th, 2021. I reject the invitation to go before you on bended knee to answer for alleged violations of unjust fascist mandates and unlawful orders. I will never use medical exemptions as if I'm presenting my papers to the secret police in the former Soviet Union. I won't use brochures and pamphlets featuring supposed loopholes. I won't go down the rabbit hole with you about the science. You know the facts related to the science already anyways in support of our case. I refuse to use any excuse because that would only justify everything you're doing, giving it credibility. I don't need any of it to make my stand. I only need my God-given freedoms, those also protected under our Constitution. So we will give no lockdown authority over us to those who have none. We have not and will never surrender anything in this fight. Everyone knows what's stacked against us. Your whole agency, top to bottom, is filled with Gavin appointees. There are no independent ABC judges. Your allegiance is to him. You have even denied my motion against holding my hearings today by way of video on Zoom, violating even the Sixth Amendment, my constitutional right to face my accusers in person, face to face. It never ends with you people. Business owners are suffering, and your actions now force them to dig deeper into their pockets, to accommodate the nonsense and to defend themselves when they are unable to. And you waste the government's money with these kangaroo court proceedings when instead your agency should be pursuing real crimes. Your governor locks up honest working people but releases murderers onto our streets. Run a small business that enriches a community, and they will cut your gas and electricity. But riot, burn, and loot your city, and he will kiss your ass. And now you think you can, on behalf of the tiny tyrant in Sacramento and his mini Gestapo, extort us, threatening to revoke our hard-earned, well-deserved, and very valuable liquor license because we refuse to comply with any of the arbitrary and hypocritical, childish, fear-based, anti-American mandates that is strike teams enforced selectively? Do you understand the wreckage to the country you are enabling? The young people who will never ever have those cherished experiences of youth most of us had? Even turning amusement parks into places where you herd people like sheep to their fear-induced vaccinations? The elderly you are helping rob of their rightful golden years and precious memories with family, even stealing from them their last moments of dignity, not even allowing proper goodbyes. Immediate members of my family and ancestors before them did not come from Italy to have to deal with Mussolini wannabes who use the pandemic of fear for their own power grab. To be clear, my protest today is on behalf of all American patriots who have yet to find the same courage to fight as we do, but do share the same love for this great country and the blessings it has bestowed upon them. And I especially do so in honor of our founding fathers who sacrificed so much to gift us the protections of our freedoms, and the brave men and women of our military for over 244 years who have made the ultimate sacrifices when defending them. Do you think the greatest generation would have stormed Normandy Beach to help free Europe and defend democracy, knowing how the government would treat future generations of their fellow Americans only 76 years later? Instead, now our government sacrifices the blood of our American sons and daughters to free other nations from tyranny, but then they turn around and do the same to its own citizens. With that in mind, I now ask all businesses to band together in this historic fight to preserve what it means to be an American. And if you comply on any level, you are an accomplice to the destruction of our American way of life we have witnessed in the last 10 months across our nation. You are obligated as American patriots to make sacrifices related to your business in this fight. No fear. It's an all-or-nothing battle of wills, and if you're even partially complying, then you are not truly open. Open now, open fully, and open boldly. And when you feel fear of losing stuff, such as a license, receiving a fine, citation, anything, even jail, think of the brave men and women in uniform around the world right now who are facing real bullets and bombs so you can live freely. Surrendering your freedoms over whether you wear a mask or not, or whether you're standing 6 feet apart, is an insult to them. Not here. We salute them. Cheers. I know that so many agents of state and federal agencies quietly agree with us. Members of the ABC prosecution team have even privately told us so, and claiming that most within the agency do as well. You know who you are, and you know in your heart that in spite of what you're trying to do to us, our stand represents you too as Americans. So I now also call on all patriots who work for agencies who pressure them to crack down on your fellow Americans to examine your conscience and do the right thing. Stand down and instead stand with us. Stand on the side of American freedom. So in closing, it is obvious that the ABC, unfortunately, coerced by the little dictator in Sacramento, intends to use this pandemic of fear to squeeze us. On behalf of your governor, you have already cost us a lot of time and resources. So, Judge, you can have my answer to your settlement proposal now if you'd like. My offer is this: nothing, not even the fee for the liquor license renewal, which I would appreciate if Gavin Pelosi would put up personally. Until then, leave the mask, take the cannoli, make restaurants great again. God bless the good fellas of Basilicos, and God bless America.